this computer. Okay, I'm recording it now. So let's get back to kind of where we found ourselves. I'm in this new workbook right here. Let's get out of that workbook and I'm going to close it. And let's get back to the site that you would go to when you first log into public Tableau. You come up with this it's a site that's just going to be advertising to you all the things that they think you should do. Maybe it gives you inspirations. I don't know. If you click on, I put my picture up here, but it's probably going to show just a generic person when you're logged in, and you click my profile. This is where you go to see anything that you've already created in the past. Maybe you can follow things if you're seeing something that inspires you, or you could favorite things. People can follow your visualizations and so forth. So I had created this test data visualization. We're basically going to recreate that. And so I'll look at this test data just for the sake of seeing what this does. And so this visualization shows a list of all of, I just, I kind of, I realized, and we're going to go through this one. You have to have data to play with, right? If you don't have data to play with, what do you do? And so I was silly enough. I'm like sitting down with Eric and saying, I'm stuck. I feel like I don't know what to do. And he's like, Jim, you got thousands of ways to get people's addresses. Just get it. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. So I'll tell you how I got my data.
Okay.
And we'll show that in a minute. So this is basically showing all of the vendors that support SCCOE. And what I kind of did was I'm not too sure how this pop-up works, but I thought it'd be great to have a comment so I can say something about the vendor. So this is in Fremont. There's a comment, Bruce's Tire. This is a comment, and it's in California. And I'm betting I can rearrange how city, comment, name, and state are. Instead, I could have put name up front, city and state, and then comment. And then so then you could put whatever you want in there. You could, say this is, if there's a metric like how many people are inside that facility or whatever it is. Okay, so that's the metric that I created. If I wanted to edit this, I think, I go right here to edit. And this would take me to the edit screen. But I'm not going to do that. And the reason why I'm not going to do that is because we want to create it from scratch. We want to see how I did it. So I clicked on Tableau Public just to get me back to that weird place, which I don't know why it's there. And then I'll go to my profile. And then here I'm going to click Create Viz. You could have also, just like I did before, create web authoring. They would have taken you to the same place. Okay, so now I'm here and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I just saw connect data, upload from computer. This looks pretty good. I think I didn't use that. And instead I went to data somewhere in here. I did data upload, a new data source. And that brought that back up.
Okay.
Okay, and so now I got to get a data source, right? So I'll show you.
I'm working on doing a download of a data source that I actually want to interact with for what we're building. And then I'll follow along.
Let's see, downloads. Yeah. Okay, let's see if I can figure out if. I mean, test data sounds good.
I'm working on getting the data source in shape to upload.
This has got to be it because this happened at the time. It is. So this was the data that I used. And what I did is I just happened to have an account in QCC. And I'm like, hey, I wonder if I could download our vendor data from QCC. And it let me. And so I'm like, oh, well, that's a way of getting data. But you've already got data. And so once you get your data, you could make, use Excel, right? So I don't want it to have the addresses, for example. And let's say I'm just going to make up something and I'm going to go insert and I'm going to say, this is their score. And I'm just going to equals, ignore me typing these commands. I'm just doing something random. I don't even know if this is going to work. How do I find a function called random? There is no function called random. Well, I'll just make it up then. Like, so oops, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm just making fake data is basically what I'm doing. And so somehow I got data in there, and I just was basically doing some stupid stuff by just typing numbers and randomly, and then I just added one. And knowing I, I'm gonna leave this as formulas. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're just gonna see. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna file and I'm gonna save this to my desktop. And we'll just call this TBL. Don't know how to spell that word. Test. Okay, I'll close that out. So so does that make sense that this data is really it's just whatever you want. It's in a get an Excel file. Um,
Yeah, I've been able to follow along to a degree. I was getting the like a data source cleaned up and I uploaded it. Your demo made me think there's two things I'd like to build out in here. One is a map of our region to have the pinpoints of like where the community schools that are CCSPP funded are. And then the other is that searchable database of grantee names, the type of grant, and the amount, like in the test one that we have. So I was able to get the data. I got the spreadsheet or the Excel sheet uploaded.
so it
And
just dawned on me. Did you see when I deleted some data out of my data?
um, I don't
Maybe you didn't, but it's okay. What I did
know.
was I said, I don't need these fields. I'm going to delete them.
Hmm.
But let's think through this together. How do you think that the system is going to know how to identify them on the map? What do you think that information is?
It's the address.
I actually think, oh, I guess it depends on how low you're going.
Mhm.
If you want to get to the street level, you're right. You're going to need the address. But if you're okay with just showing the cities, then
Mhm.
what I don't know is maybe they need the zip code.
Oh,
I don't know. So that's something that you can play with. But for me, since I have the city, state, and zip, I'll just leave three of those three in.
see what that looks like. Yeah. Yeah. If we, for the map one, I would want the exact school sites.
Then, yeah, that's good.
Because we have multiple within cities, so that would be kind of clunky. So we want that specific address, but then yeah, I think I deleted. I'm gonna watch what you are doing because now I'm at the point where there's an option to update now or update automatically.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
So this is this and update now, update automatically. I don't know what that means, but I'll tell you what this data that you're doing, this doesn't
Mhm.
change often, does it?
Not often. It
Yeah.
changes every time there's a new grant period. So we have an application coming up. So there will be additional grantees that will add to this by May or June once CDE lets us know who was awarded.
So this is the hammer technique that I use. Um, for what I'm doing here is I'm going to try to think through, and we're recording it too. How am I building this visualization? And
Mhm.
what I'm going to bet in my mind is I'll be able to build this visualization faster than I'll be able to figure out how to automatically update the data.
Yeah.
And so if it was in my mind, I'd say, I'm just going to remember how to build it, or I'll make a little recording to remind myself. And when the data updates, I'm just going to rebuild it.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm good
because
with that. Yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I've spent like years with that problem. How do you get data to automatically upload? And
Mhm.
that's where I think you get the professionals in Tableau working.
Yeah.
For this, I think I just chose update now. This is my information, and And now I'm extract will contain all the data. And
So
then now I'm still stuck. What did I do
I
here?
don't care about
Did I
this.
do create extract? Drag
Um,
tables here to relate them. No, we don't have to relate a table. That's pretty hardcore. So just get all the data inside your one file. Data
and
extras. Actually,
I am going to clean this up a little bit because I don't think we care for this purpose about CDS codes, but let me, yeah. Sometimes I try to stick with the theme of less is more.
yeah.
Hide. Oh, it's not. Oh, there. I thought I hit it the first time, but maybe, okay. Cohort year. So I'm going to eventually clean this up so it's less, I think this is a bit confusing. Grant type, fantastic. Amount.
So one of the things I saw on my screen was it's had this little message. It says, publish to save your changes. I thought, I would have not thought that. That's not intuitive to me. To me, publish would mean let the world see what you're doing, and I'm not even
Yeah,
ready for them to see it. But
yeah.
I don't want to lose my changes, so it's asking me to publish workbook. So I'll go ahead and do that one, and I'll call this uh, my vendors. Okay, and I'll publish it and see what. And what I'm hoping for is by publishing it, it will take me back to the page that I can create the visualization on, and it did. So that seems like a weird step. I wouldn't have thought of that, but
And then just so I'm publishing the workbook as well. I got the same nudge or prompt as you did, and then show so show sheets as tabs or embed password for data source. And I'm thinking it's just show sheets as tabs.
yeah,
And
I
I want
think
to
so.
pass.
Oh, you must have used an Excel file that has tabs in it, right?
I did, but I
Or I
thought
mean,
I
I'm sorry. You must have used an Excel file that had multiple sheets on it. You had a workbook.
yeah, I thought I deleted the second tab. But maybe I didn't. Yeah, I did. I only had it originally when it was a Google sheet had two tabs, but I deleted the second tab. So,
Yeah, just I would say show sheets as tabs and see what happens.
okay. And now I'm in yeah, I'm there. Okay. This is so
Okay,
helpful to do it in tandem. Like,
so I'm gonna go back to looking at this because I've already forgotten what I did, but I
okay.
don't even know how I found this. I must have Googled how do you build a map in Tableau,
Mm.
and I stumbled on this page because it's from Tableau. I felt like it was a safe bet. So it's step one is to connect your geographic data. I feel like we've done that. I feel like we've done that. That join your data. I don't. Do you understand what that means? Join your data.
Let me read the context, not offhand, but
It's okay. You don't have to read it because I'll
oh,
I'll explain it a different way.
okay.
Have you ever used VLOOKUP in Excel? That's a pretty sophisticated thing.
No.
So
I
it
don't use Excel a lot, to be honest. I use Google Suite tools
okay. So
way.
and so you'll probably never use this, but I'll explain what it is. Let's say, for example, on one worksheet inside Excel, you can have two worksheets at the bottom. In
Mhm.
one worksheet, you might have um, an email address and a person's name. Jay Carrillo is Jim Carrillo. And then in another worksheet, you have that the email address Jay Carrillo lives in Morgan Hill. And so you've got data that's kind of related by the email address, but two different places. So
Mhm.
you could basically join those two data pieces on the email address and say, I want to join them together so I know the first name, last name, and the so that's what it means. It is
Interesting. Okay.
it's mind-blowing, it's complicated. The
Mhm.
key is just get your data looking good in the Excel file before you even upload it so
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. 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 That
Um,
feels like the right move
yeah,
here.
because that is pretty sophisticated. See, because then you get in this whole inner join left. Híjole, it's crazy. Format your geographic data. So here, see how it's talking about maybe you have longitude,
Yeah.
latitude. We use zip code. I don't even see it in there, but
Well, and I did go to the Tableau search, like the help search bar to see if I could figure out where you are. And there were a couple of different map options. There's build a simple map and then build maps. So I wonder if Maps and geographic data analysis. I might follow the build a simple map.
Yeah. Well,
That's to see.
we'll just follow this one so I can kind of help you see
Yeah.
what you can ignore and what you can
Okay.
focus on. So in this case, um, there was a column heading that says change the data type of a column. And they're specifically focused on postal code. And so now that's telling me that that is going to be what's being used for the geographic data. I'm starting to realize it. And they say they want the postal code to be a string. I'm just watching their little animation
Mhm.
here.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm going to try that. And I think I have to go back to data. No. Oh, I click on the bottom left. Let me try click on data source. Yeah, that worked. So I did it on the bottom left. I clicked on data source and I'm going to go to zip code and I click on that little puppy and it's already a string.
Okay.
So I got lucky on that one. Um, then I close this by, I'm just going to remember what I did as I clicked on publish. This reminds me of a lesson I learned. Actually, I know what I got to do. So there's a lesson I learned in psychology and it was about misinterpretations of analysis. And so what they did was they put a chicken in, I'm sorry, a pigeon inside of a cage, and they wanted to know, can the pigeon learn to peck on the lever to get food? And they would let the pigeon go till starvation. So eventually they were successful on their experiment because what had happened was the pigeon got so hungry and so frantic that it tried to fly out of the cage and it flew up and hit its head on the top of the cage. And when it fell, it landed on the lever.
Mhm.
The problem is what the chicken learned is whenever it flies up to try to get out of the
Yeah.
cage and falls, it gets food. That's what I'm doing right now. I don't know if I'm just clicking. I don't know. So, 6 months from now, you're going to be like, yeah, he didn't have to go all through all that one. I
It's
just clicked on publish and it didn't do nothing for me. I'm like, oh, bummer. And then I saw this little left arrow and I don't know what that's going to do. No, that's an undo.
this is a we're trailblazing here, Jim. It's
Yeah,
at least within our own respective context.
I know. So I got to somehow get out of this area and I'm going to try close. I really don't know. I'm kind of stuck on that area.
As you're doing that, I'm trying to get where can I put this? The second spreadsheet with the addresses ready and then move that. Well,
Okay.
this is just it's
So
fine.
so I wasn't able to successfully figure out that one. So I'm gonna now I'm on this thing that says my vendors. If I wanted to, I can go back here to profile. I should be able to see there's my vendors.
Mhm.
I think I can go to this action. No, I'm just gonna click on it. This does not make sense to me. And then I'm gonna click on this little thing that says edit. Let's see if that takes me to where I want to go. And it did. That is definitely a pigeon with his head getting hit on the thing. Okay, so now I'm back here. I've done my data change type to string, assign or edit geographic data. Oh, okay, so now I'm going to go. It looks like I could have done that back in that other screen, but I remember on last Friday when I was testing this, I didn't understand how to get to that data. So on the left-hand side, I saw that little globe as well. And so if I click on there, I was able to do that as well. So
Okay.
state right here, geographic role, state, looks like it figured it out for me. Zip, geographic role, and zip code. Good. So I stumbled last week on how to do that one in a different way. I think they wanted me to do it at the data level, but that's all right. And then now somehow they said, okay, you got back to this guy to change the role of data column. I'm not going to worry about changing a role of data column. It says in the data, now I got to drop some stuff down, measures. Under dimensions, select a field such as row ID and drag it down the measure section. Um, watch this one. Uh, this is a learning technique where I've tried something before and I want to see what I tried. How is that reflecting in my thing? So I just basically opened up the same URL. It's exactly the same thing. I'm going to go back to, I close that out because I want to go back to looking at my visuals under my profile. And I'm going to look at this guy, the Jim's test data. Do you remember when I said, hey, I would have loved to have put the name first and then maybe the city and the state second or something like that? And I didn't know how to do that one. And now I think something's coming back to me because it's asking me right now to drag stuff down. No, that's not helping me out. Oh, here it is. Do you see these things right here? That is what determines the
I can
order.
drag them. Okay.
So, and then go here. And now it says name, city, state, and comment. That's pretty cool. That's something I just learned. And let's see if I publish that. And now when I put my cursor over it, that sure didn't help out too much, did it? Okay, maybe that didn't help, but
How do you get the map?
Yeah. So,
okay,
Jim,
huh?
can you help me with I want to get the data I just uploaded into a map like how you have it. So I created a second viz. This one has the grantee addresses and it's in there. I've published it, but I'm not sure how to get it to the map view.
All right, so stick with me on this one because frankly, I don't know either, but we're going to find that out. So on the measures, okay, so I guess I didn't do measures. It says create geographic hierarchy. And when you're finished, your hierarchy should be in the following order: country, state, city, and postal code. Sure. So I think we might have to do that one. So it should be state as the hierarchy. And then city is postal code or city the hierarchy. Let's just go postal code to the hierarchy. I have no idea. And I'll add the hierarchy. And so now you can see that the hierarchy looks like state step. Well, let's add a hierarchy. And let's put what's kind of cool about these new tools is you could just drag and drop to change the order. Okay, so I just added the hierarchy and then build a basic map. Here's where we are. In the data pane, double click the country. The country field is added to details. So in the data pane, oh my Lord, I don't even remember doing this one. So this case, I don't have a country, so I'm gonna double click the state. So I just double clicked it. And
You don't have state.
I see how it just grabs state. What is that doing for me?
So we don't
You don't have this on there.
Yeah.
And then let's go ahead and add.
I know. It's presumed.
Oh, I did not realize that I had vendors across the entire country.
Ooh.
And so now I've added city. And now I've added zip. Okay, so there you go. Let's go to your data now. Can you double click the state?
I just realized the data spreadsheet I have doesn't have state because it's all California grants. So
That's
I'm
okay.
now going into.
You don't have to have state. So let's go ahead and stop mind share and go ahead and share your screen.
Okay. Let's see. So I'm going to do screen 3. Okay.
Jackie, doesn't it suck not being in the driver's seat? It's like you just want to get
Hey,
your
she
hand on.
totally can.
It's like
I like to watch and learn and then do.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just create a hierarchy by right-clicking on zip.
I did play around with creating a hierarchy like this. Here is part of a hierarchy. Remove from I can.
Yeah, go ahead and remove that from hierarchy. Let's do the hierarchy on zip code, and just click on that word zip code and create hierarchy. Okay, and that's fine. Now double click the word zip code, and there you go.
Oh.
Yeah. Now
Wow,
Why that?
Jim.
How does it know to do that? I don't know. It's crazy stuff, right? Um, and so now it's showing the zip code. And what I'm wondering is, how could we add? I don't know how to add the comments. So I'm going to go back to mine, and I'm going to I'm going to start sharing with mine. So we can kind of
Okay.
backwards engineer. How did I get the comments?
And the other thing is we want, so the top, like the first thing, if you scroll over, the top piece of information should be the school or district
Hmm.
name. So do I need to create a hierarchy based on with that first, or do I keep zip code as a hierarchy? What do you
I think
What's your
the
guess?
hierarchy is the hierarchy has the only thing the hierarchy has to do with is locating the item on the map. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with what's shown.
Mine's too
So
hard because you don't
so
have it.
I'm seeing that in this one, whatever is in here, state, city, and zip is showing when I'm hovering over it, right?
Mhm.
And when I go over to the other one, this one should have name, city, state, and comment. Name, city, state, and comment. Okay. And then, so if I wanted to go back to this one, and I'm just using my data as a, let's say that you want to show something on yours, and maybe it's called comment. If I drag this down here, that should now show the comment, and it does.
It's showing up. Yeah.
Now, what I don't know is how do I change the, and boy, I just clicked on
You just
something.
drag it.
You
Yeah.
can
There-
drag that. Okay. Now I'm more in tandem with what you're doing or where you're at in
But
terms of what you
I'm still getting this to where it's not like I can't somehow get I want the comment to go to the top, or if I go to the comment to go to the bottom. Yeah, see, so that's not affecting the map itself. And by the way, how do you kind of rearrange the map? I think you zoom home, and then I can zoom in, and then I'm gonna bet, I'm just gonna bet out of my memory. If I hold the control key, no, I don't know how to like move over to the left or to the right. So I'm gonna go out.
I want grant type at the top.
I think that's what he was saying. Look, you can't actually really control.
I mean, that's not the worst.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's better than if it were like in the middle of like
Yeah.
the LEA name or
Yeah, I
need
think
to
it's okay.
change that heading.
Okay, so on the map, one of the things that I'm recognizing is, let's say I wanted the center of Utah to be where I'm looking at, right? So what I would do is double click on the center of Utah, it repositions it, and then I would go hit the minus sign to get it to where I want it to be. So double click on the map where you want the center to be. Colorado, I'll double click there. That centers it, and then I can use the plus and minus to like get it to. So I'm gonna go back to California, and I think that looks good to me.
Okay, let's see. Because so ours is I don't know if we use it. Is that same era? Hayward.
Oh,
That's
I
not
figured it out. I figured it out.
Hayward 95023. Well, we may have some data cleanup to do, but this is looking really good in terms of how to manipulate things, enter the data, like
So the last thing I saw was I saw this thing called tooltip. I don't know what that means, but I noticed that it looks like the same pic. Well, it's not really, but it looks like a little pop-up window, right? So I double clicked on that, and this popped up. I'm like, what the heck is that? I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my comments. I'm just going to cut that out, just like as if I'm writing in a Word document, and clean that up. And I could even put something like, this is Jim's comment. I could type whatever I want there, click OK. So what I've done here is I put the comment at the bottom. Let's see what happens. And there it is. And you can see how I could type whatever I want in there. And and that this is Jim's comment is not based upon a variable, so it's going to be, and so boy, that's kind of cool. I wish I had some. Let's go ahead and throw a name in here. I'll put the name right there, and then I'll change that tooltip. And now so I don't see that name didn't pop up here, right? It's probably because I've messed with it and they're like, yeah, now you screwed things up. So I'm just gonna follow. I don't know what kind of language this is. Maybe it's called markup or something. So I'm just gonna type name and then I'm gonna put inside here the word name and see if that now shows the name. And I do okay. And it does.
Yeah.
So there's that tooltip.
Yeah, that's super helpful.
So then you can't put this one.
Oh, and
Yeah, and I think one of the things on our data, on our spreadsheet, we have to change it. Instead of LEA name, we'll call it grantee. And then that way, because some grantees are LEAs or districts, and others are school sites, depending on the grant they have. So then that will make a little more sense.
right.
Okay, this is very good.
I'm just whenever I see a button that says show me, I'm like, sure, I don't know. Oh, it says I can do this type of map. I don't know what I'll just click on that one. I don't know what the heck is. Yeah, that really didn't help me out, did it? So let's go ahead and at this point, I just messed up. So I'm gonna hit Control Z and then Control Z again and pray that it gets back to something that looks good. Thank
Yeah, I
goodness.
was happy to see Control Z works on
Yeah.
this. I had to use that. I was like, okay.
And frankly, if it didn't, you know what I would have done? I would have
Huh.
started a brand new one and said, screw it. I don't have time
That's
to
what I
figure
was
this
gonna
out.
guess.
Yeah.
That was my thought too, but
Okay, so now let's say that we're done, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is click publish. Now, publish, in my opinion, that means, okay, let the world see it, right?
Mhm.
And then I thought, how am I going to view this so I'm not editing it?
Yeah.
And at that point, I didn't know. So all I did, I copied this right here.
Mhm.
And do you know what incognito tab does?
I mean, somewhat, but not the back end
Oh,
magic.
yeah,
But yeah,
magic.
I know what an incognito. Yeah.
So basically it says, I don't want this browser to know anything about me. I want to
Yeah.
pretend like I'm somebody else. So I went to an incognito tab or I went incognito window, and they also call it private window or private browsing and some other things. And I just pasted that URL to see what somebody else would see.
Oh, but for some reason mine's independent.
And so they don't get to see all of the other stuff that I saw, right?
Yeah.
So this is perfect, right? And then this is kind of where then I went to this little thing that's called share because I just recognize this from whether it's Facebook or anything like,
Yeah.
I clicked on that and I saw this thing called embed code.
Oh.
And that right there, I'm not even going to look at, to be honest with you, because it scares the poop out of me. So I just went and I just tested it. And I said, well, I know I can go to sites.google.com. You could do this on any of your personal accounts too. And I
Mhm.
think did I create one? Well, let's just create a blank site and I'll call this, I'm just going to do this map test. And I went down here and at this point, you wouldn't need to know how to do this because that's what we have web developers for.
Yeah. Sonia
But
Cow. She's
yeah,
been
but
helping
what
me.
you would give is you'd say, hey, Sonia, here's my embed code.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this says. I see there's just, I don't even know.
Yeah.
And I just do next. And that's exactly what I want it to look like. And there you go.
Nice.
Oh
And-
my gosh.
And
This
so,
is
yeah.
fantastic.
So you could do all of that. And all you're doing is sending Sonia, hey, here's some embed code. Could you put this
Yeah.
on our website? And she's like, okay, I guess so.
Nice.
Jim, this is so exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really helpful. This has been such a thing on my radar, and I didn't know how to bring it to life. I'm so grateful for
Yeah.
you and Eric and the modeling and thought partnership.
Yeah.
This is exactly, yeah. There's two pieces. The map looks fantastic. The table, I've played around with enough and I saw your example, like that looks fantastic. It's just a matter of us thinking about exactly what we want the data to be and how to name it and getting that really clean. And then,
Yeah, and like I would now I'm just kind of like sharing ideas with you because at this point you all know more than I do. But like if you were thinking the intention of this is so somebody out in the public could find the contact information, then maybe you'd want to put an email for or a phone number for each place. So just kind of thinking ahead is what's the intention of
yeah,
it.
yeah, absolutely.
And
Um,
one of the things that I've in my department, we manage this program called QSS.
mhm,
And I try to remember this stupid number in my brain because whenever I'm giving briefings and stuff, I have 45 customers, 35 customers in Santa Clara and
mhm,
10 customers in San Benito.
mhm.
But I have to remember that all the time. And after just talking with you all, I thought I'm going to create a Tableau visual and put it on our website so I never have to remember that number
Yeah,
again. And
yeah,
I could say, this website shows where all of our customers are.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
there's so many, like, I'm excited too to look at that main page where it gives you examples, like inspiration, because what we've talked about hits the two needs that I've been thinking about for a long time. And then it's like, what else is out there? Like, what else can we do? Because yeah, the visualization piece is huge.
yeah.
Good. Well, I'm excited to work on cleanup of the data and then uploading it. And I think I would just because the updates aren't so often to where we need to figure out how to have that more as a system. We can just recreate. Get really good at making these.
I
Uh,
would bet, and there's always something to do, right? So I
yeah.
would bet if I went to, I think it was, I can't remember which one I was working on, but let's go it this way. If
Mm.
I wanted to go into my data source, could I add data here? Does this, and I'm
It
just
says
kind of like,
our data at the top, drag tables here to relate them.
yeah, I don't want to do that. That's where I was saying how that's like the email and the email and two,
Oh, okay.
that gets scary. I'm just seeing if
Okay.
I can like add data. Um, export union.
Let me go back
Logic
to
table. No, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm not seeing it, but
yeah, it's probably
so therein lies maybe I just would upload the data again.
yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna throw. Gosh, you're scaring me because I might break something again. So I am going to drop that data as if I made a change. Let's say I added data, and it's the same name, and I click update now, and well, this was silly. I should have made it change the data, right? So let's do that. And we're going to make a change to look for, I know, I'll change all the words in the comments and I'm just going to change them all to something else. I'll call it new comment. Okay, so I'll save this. Oh, am I sharing my screen? I think I am, right?
You are.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, so it's automatically saved. And then I go back to Tableau. And I'm gonna, oh boy,
Every so often I'm like,
drop that data. And it should say this is a new, I do update now again. That sure didn't, that still says this is a comment, huh? And it should say
yeah.
new comment.
I
Oh,
wonder, is it because it's the same type of column? Does it
no,
have to be a different kind of column name?
look at
Oh,
over
yeah.
here, how all these ones,
Mm.
do you see how these ones all,
Yeah. What happens if you
so
click on?
let's delete these. And let's delete this one right here. Go back to the original data. And what I want to do is change this data. Edit connection.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh, that looks promising.
I know. And update now. Ah,
Oh,
Ah,
there we
there you go.
go.
So I had to like somehow go over here and click edit connection. And
Yeah.
then let's go ahead and create the extract. And let's hope that when I go back over to everything that I don't have to touch any of the work that I did over there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I got stuck like, how heck do I get out of here? I still don't know how to get that out of here. So I ended up just closing it. I'll
Mhm.
click publish again. I don't know why. Again, I'm flopping around in this cage. And then I'll go back to my profile. Oh, here, I'm there. So I just go ahead and click on this edit button again. And let's just verify that it says new comment now. And it does. It says new
Yeah.
comment.
Oh, good.
And let's go over here and see if this says new comment now. Oh, I have to publish this. Trash me. I want to see if that now the website like this would be, if we were thinking of SECOE,
Yeah.
what would it look like?
If it,
My thought is it would be updating already.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get my cursor
Really
over there.
is good.
And there it is.
Yeah.
It does say new comment. That's
nice.
pretty crazy.
Tim, you exceeded your own expectations
I
with
know.
this.
So
'Cause you're just redo it. That doesn't need to happen. Now you figured out.
There you go.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And it's recorded so we can look back and follow
Yep.
the steps.
So I'll load this recording. I'll put it on we have like this little YouTube site that we use in our department. It's kind of how we share things. I'll send you all the link and you can watch it whenever you want. And I'll just code this as Tableau training.
Yay.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good one.
Fantastic. You too.
Thanks.
Good, and enjoy. And by the way, Jackie or Sam, whatever, send me what you do. I would love to see it. It'd be kind
Okay.
of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We will. We're ultimately going to put it on our SCCOE website.
Yeah.
But I'm going to share that with you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Talk to you guys later.
Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.